Students should have a lot of opportunity to explore equivalent fractions. First, we want to use a lot of hands-on tools or virtual manipulatives to help students see how one fraction is equivalent to another fraction, or sometimes how one fraction is equivalent to a lot of other fractions. And then we want to model and practice with numbers. So let's think about equivalent fractions with our fraction tiles. Here I've showed my whole, and then I've showed 1/2. And I want to think about, well, what are the equivalent fractions to 1/2? Well, I can use my fraction tiles to build on, so I can see that 2 1/4 pieces is the same length as 1 1/2 piece, so 2/4 is equivalent to 1/2. And then I could see that my 4 1/8 pieces are the same length as 2/4 and as 1/2, so 4/8 is equivalent to 1/2. That's a way that we can use some of those hands-on tools or virtual manipulatives to help students explore equivalent fractions. But we also have to practice with numbers, and here we can use our multiplication to help us determine equivalent fractions. So if I have 1/2 and I multiply the numerator by 2 and the denominator by 2, that would give me a fraction of 2/4. So 1/2 is equivalent to 2/4. I could do that here with 3/4. If I multiply 3/4 times 3, 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 3 is 12, so 3/4 is equivalent to 9/12. So many different ways that we can help students explore equivalence with fractions. Lots of great ideas with the tools, but also lots of great ideas with the numbers. So that brings us here to activity 6, where you are going to explore equivalent fractions. Here are several fractions that you want to think about in terms of what are equivalent fractions to these fractions. And then you've got some workspace here. So I want you to first think about the tools that you might use to explore those fractions. And then if you don't have the tools and you're just working with the numbers, what are some of the considerations, or what are some of the steps that students need to think about to take a fraction like 1/2 and find equivalent forms?